everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Chara, and today we're running the dirtiest, the sweatiest, the most meta build that I could think of, but the only caveat is it's from the year 2020. So this is what I believe to be the best survivor build from like 2-ish years ago, probably like late 2020, early 2021. But all of these things have been nerfed in some capacity since then. So we are going to see how well this build stacks up in the current year of 2022, right here at the tail end of the year. So I brought 4 perks. I have Object of Obsession, Decisive Strike, Borrowed Time, and Dead Hard. And then also for funsies, I brought a key, because keys used to be one of the strongest, if not the strongest item in the game, whereas today they're mostly kind of useless, unless you run them with one of the add-ons that like shows you like the auras of the killer or other survivors. So I saw with Object that the killer is a huntress, and actually she's right here. Oh. Okay, looks like she might be kicking that gen over there. Okay, so you can see with Object that I can see she's coming this way. She could also see that I'm right here. Okay, she has her hatchet up. Oh, okay. Okay, I know she still has it up, so I'm just gonna make sure not to like expose myself through the window too much. Okay, cool. Alright, that's 2 hatchets. Okay, looks like she might be going back to the gen. It sounds like someone might have got back on it. Oh, actually, she's coming back here. That's funny. I see her in the same position again. She doesn't have her hatch up, so I'm gonna vault the window. There we go. Okay, she's reloading, so I'm gonna run. Because T-Dall walls are not like the safest place. This hay bale is actually pretty safe. Okay, it sounds like she might not be committing. But if she does, like, this jungle gym is pretty good against the hunters anyway. Yeah, I think she might have left. Okay, I can see her over there. Oh, she's on Dwight. Okay, so if you are newer to the game, you might not know this, but Object of Obsession was actually, like, Killer's probably most hated survivor perk for the longest time, until it was changed in, I think, like, early 2021. But what old Object of Obsession would do is it would let you see the killer's aura if you were outside of their radius and you like looked in their direction, but then they would also be shown your aura, so you would have like constant vision on the survivor or on the killer as a survivor. And this was pretty controversial because like if you ran this perk when you're playing with friends, you could essentially like always call out the killer and like what they were doing to your entire team. So if like the killer was trapper, you could like be like, oh yeah, the trapper's at shack, and like they trapped the window of the pallet, and now they're coming towards you on that gen over there, and it was just, you know, it was very strong. So it was just super powerful with friends. And then they changed it, and what current Object does is it just shows your aura to the killer over 45 seconds, and then when they see your aura, you get to see their aura. So it can also be helpful in sussing out what perks the killer has. It's kind of similar to a distortion. So it's changed quite a bit. It's definitely less used now. I very rarely see it. But honestly, it's not even a bad perk. Wait a second. Okay, I think she might have like Darkness Revealed or something. I want to finish gen, but... Oh, Dwight! Oh no. Sorry, Dwight. I didn't realize he was in that locker right there. I guess... Do you have like inner healing or something? Sorry, Dwight. But I think she might... I'll just keep out. I think she might have Darkness Revealed because I think I saw her aura twice in pretty quick succession there. I'll have to keep out for that. So yeah, I don't even think Object of Obsession is like a bad perk now, but I like rarely see it used. I think the bad part of using it is if the killer's undetectable, like they'll be able to see your aura, but you won't be able to see theirs. And so like if you go against like a ghost face or like a wraith or something, then like, oh man, do I give up on Hook? Man, this really is 2020 with survivors giving up on Hook. I guess that's the same as 2022, but but yeah, so like if there's a stealth killer, it's kind of like you're essentially allowing them to see your aura for free. That can kind of suck. Alright, she's going like towards shack there. Okay, and the next work I want to talk about is Decisive Strike, which was also pretty widely hated from the killer side. And now Decisive Strike has been changed like many times since it was initially released. But back in like 2020-ish, it was really strong because it like did not deactivate for any reason. Like after Eruption. See, this wouldn't fly in 2020 mostly because Eruption wasn't even a perk in 2020. Can't even open a chest. Okay. But Decisive Strike would not deactivate for any reason. Like if you did any sort of action, it would still remain up. So you could do gens, you could heal, whatever, and then you could hit the killer with the DS after like 50 to 59 seconds, and like killers would get very, very mad about it. And it also did not deactivate in like the end game at all. So if you got unhooked in end game, it was, and you were close enough to an exit gate, it was like essentially a free escape because you could just like crawl towards the exit. And then they couldn't pick you up because otherwise you could just DS them and escape for free. And then it was also a 5-second stun instead of 3 seconds. So after you DS them, you even had more time to get away. So I don't even necessarily think Decisive Strike is bad these days, but is objectively like worse than it was for sure. And then next up is Borrow Time, which I think this one's an interesting one. Because prior to, I believe it's the 6.1 patch, the patch that just happened in summer 2021, it was like almost like a required perk for survivors. Okay, looks like she is coming for me. I'm gonna run to this hay bale here. Dodge this hatchet maybe. Because these hay bales are pretty good against huntresses because it's very hard to hit over these. Especially if you crash, like I think there's no way they can hit this. Okay, it looks like she's leaving me to go back towards like the unhook, so I will try to find a gen. And so yeah, Borrow Time. Yeah, so it was basically almost a required perk for survivors, and I'm like not even joking. I would run Borrow Time pretty much every time I played Survivor. The only time I would not run Borrow Time is if like there was a build I wanted to do that required like 4 different perks. I kind of want to take maybe some aggro here. I feel like I say this in every single one of my Survivor videos. Okay, well she went down. That I want to take aggro because I'm always like haven't been hooked. Yeah. Okay, well she looks like she has that. The only time I wouldn't run Borrow Time is when I had a build that required like 4 different perks that I wanted to use. But other than that, I ran it like probably 98% of the time. And the thing was, the reason that it was like basically required is that killers were actually pretty incentivized, I think, to hit survivors off of hook, immediately off of hook. Because like it was like essentially like a free another hook state. Now if you were in a group, if you were playing with friends, you could usually designate like 2 people to run Borrow Time. Okay, she's coming here. Okay, she's stopping to kick the gen, which is good because I get a little more distance. But when you were playing solo queue, like I pretty much like always ran the perk. And so yeah, this is very tricky, this hail bill, because especially when she has her hatchet up, she's very slow, and so you can just kind of keep running this forever, basically. So now she has it down, so I'm just gonna keep running and greeting this pallet. Because it'll still take her a while to catch up to me, since she's only a 110 killer. She didn't pick up her hatchet that time. Nah. See, I always think, like I always say I'm gonna greet the pallet. I'm never gonna like throw the pallet. But then I always do, and I always immediately regret it. Okay. I think I have time I can vault this window. Run this way. Okay, I'm gonna run the long side. I still have Dead Hard, so I can still use that here. I'm gonna like fake the window, because she's coming. Dead Hard. Okay, cool. Now I'll run towards like this jungle gym. I think she might be out of hatchets, actually. She hasn't used one in a while. And I think she might have thrown like 4 or 5. Ooh, I got lucky there. But if she's out of hatchets, I can just like throw this pallet. There's nothing she can do about it. Okay, actually I might just run for it. That gen's really close to being done. I think Rebecca's probably on it. Okay, I'll go back to the hay bale. She didn't kick this pallet. Okay, cool. And if she has no hatches, it's gonna be, yeah, she's gonna have to kick that. Now there's another pallet right here. This one's a little less good than that one. But throw it. I'm gonna roll it. Ooh, I got a little stuck there. Maybe double back? Nah, okay. I should have known because she's kind of been chasing straight the entire game. So bar time these days, so by default, survivors actually have kind of what people call base kit bar time, which is they automatically have endurance for 12 seconds after being unhooked. So the perk bar time just extends it to 20 seconds, and that also has the haste effect as well. So bar time, oh, okay, she might find Rebecca there. Bar time, I think, is still pretty decent, but is by no means like required by survivors, which I think is really great because like it opens up a perk slot, allowing survivors to have more perk options. Now, back in 2020, man, I feel like this video has like turned into a history lesson, so I'm sorry about that, but I like rambling about DVD. But back in 2020, it was actually a little weaker because it didn't work outside the killer's terror radius. So the strat of hitting survivors immediately off hook was actually like super OP for like stealth killers, or if you ran like Insidious or something, because there was like literally nothing the survivors could do if a stealth killer was camping. But so I'd say it was a little stronger after they had changed that. I think that happened in like 2021-ish. So unfortunately Rebecca got killed here too. So we got 4 deaths here. So meta 2020 not holding up so far. Actually we didn't even get any value out of Decisive Strike or borrowed time at that game. But Object Obsession and Dead Heart definitely did help us. Aw. Okay, so that's it for match 1. I will see you guys all in match 2, where I'll continue my history lesson of DVD meta perks. Okay, so it looks like we got Ironworks for our second map. Okay, so I can tell that the killer is a doctor. Ooh, actually they have Ruin, so this killer is also running the 2020 meta of Hex Ruin. We'll see if they have Hex Undying too. They actually might be coming for me. Okay, it looks like they found somebody else. And so I went through a whole game and I still haven't even finished talking about all the perks that I wanted to talk about. So the last perk that I want to talk about is Dead Hard, which if you've been playing for more than a few months of DVD, you will know that Dead Hard is, was probably the best perk in the game a couple of months ago. And I would say it is still one of the top perks in the game. I'd say it's probably the only perk here that is still definitely meta. But it is definitely not as good as it was. So Dead Hard, prior to the 6.1 patch, would give you invulnerability and have you dash forward. So you used to be able to use Dead Hard in like 2 different ways. You could use it to dodge a hit, similar to how you can use it now, but you wouldn't get endurance. It would just like go through you. Or you could use it for distance, is what people would say. So you would like dash forward, so you could use it to make sure you get to a pallet or get to a window as well. And it was probably the best perk in the game for quite a bit. But I will say in, I believe, early 2021, they changed how Dead Hard's like hit validation was. So it was actually a little better in 2021, before 2021, early 2022 than it was in like 2020-ish, because it used to, the hit validation would work a little differently. So sometimes survivors would use Dead Hard, and people would say that they got like exhausted on the ground, is the phrase that they use, because they would activate Dead Hard, but the hit would still go through, and they would still get hit, and also would be exhausted. But then at some point they changed it to be server-sided. So the Dead Hard worked as, I think the dev said that was how they believed it to be intended to work. But you know, it was very controversial when that change happened from the killers, because from the killer point of view, after that change, sometimes it would seem like visually like you got the hit as a killer. Like you would hear them scream, you would see the blood, but then it would get validated, and the killer or the survivor would have gotten the dead heart off. Okay, the doctor is now coming for us. Okay, like this is just like a long pallet over here. Okay, I'm gonna throw this because I know I can get it off before he got the shock off. Okay, so now I just have these 2 little windows to play around. I think he might be going around that way. Okay, I'll bolt this. Okay, with that, I'm gonna head towards Shack. Okay, looks like this pallet's gone. He gets this hit here. Okay, or maybe not. Okay. Right, there we go. Okay, Sloppy Butcher. Okay, was that Bamboozle? Yeah, it's Bamboozle. Okay. I'm gonna stay here just because I still have Dead Hard to use. Maybe I can use Dead Hard and then make it back to those 2 window gym over there. Okay, there we go. Bolt this window. Okay, he's bamboozling that window, so I still have this one. Okay, he gets me here. Alright. Okay, and so that's it for all the perks finally. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the key. And so the key works basically the same as it used to. They haven't really changed the key, but the hatch mechanic changed in 2020. So currently, the hatch only spawns and opens when there is 1 survivor remaining in the match. So keys will only work if you are the last remaining survivor and then the killer closes the hatch. You can use the key to open the hatch. Previously, the hatch would spawn, but not open, given a set of conditions based on like the amount of generators you completed and the amount of survivors remaining in the trial. So I believe it was like if there were 2 survivors left and you had done 3 gens, then the hatch would spawn but not open. So then you could find the hatch, spawn, and then use the key to open, and then both of you could escape. And so then with 3 survivors, it would be you have to have 4 gens done, and then with 4 survivors, you need to have 5 gens done. Okay, he's bamboozling that window. I actually don't even know if I should maybe go down since I have Decisive Strike still active, or maybe I should try to use the Dead Hard. I think he might be able to hit me here unless I use Dead Hard. Okay. Actually, I think this is fine, because I can use Decisive Strike, and then if he tunnels after me, it looks like I have 2 teammates here, though. But if he tunnels after me, I still have Dead Hard to help me out. And I actually still have this pallet, too. I have to Dead Hard here. Okay. Still on that. And I'm just gonna run, and then maybe one of my teammates will take a hit or something. Okay, looks like he's still coming after me. I'll go over towards like this jungle gym over here. I'm not really sure if there's if a pallet's been thrown over here yet or anything. Okay, there's a pallet there. I'm actually not sure. That might be an imaginary pallet. Because it's down. If a pallet's down, it's probably more likely to be imaginary, I would think. Because I know he has fake pallets. Okay, he's bamboozling that window, so I have to go back here. Because otherwise, like, I'm dead regardless. Yeah, it's a fake pallet. Yeah. And so, keys. The thing with keys was, like, if you were a Swift, like, you guys could all do 5 gens together, and then one person would bring a key, and then you could just all meet at the hatch. Like, you could bring a hatch offering even, and you could all escape together without having to, like, even open an exit gate. And there's, like, you know, there's pretty little a killer could do to, like, counter that. And so for this reason, keys were, like, despised in the community. Like, a killer, you know, in the loading screen, if a killer saw in the pregame lobby that a survivor had a key, they would put on, like, a Mori, which I won't get into this video because it's already been a lot. but Moris also used to be like much stronger than they are now. And they would go out of their way to like, I mean, not all killers, but some killers would go out of their way to tunnel the survivor with the key out of the game. It was madness. It was probably better for the game as a whole that they did the Mori and hatch changes. Although I will say it was an exciting time when like if you and your buddy like were the only two left and like there was no hope of you guys like finishing last gen. It was always like exciting if you like went and like plundered a key out of a chest to like save you both. Those were like fun games, but probably for the best. Okay, looks like the doctor's on us again. I'm gonna run to Shack, even though I know there's no pallet there. Yeah, I'll try to get this unhooked. He's not coming for me? Actually, she's got it. Okay, actually the doctor's headed this way. Maybe I'll run this way just so I'm not running towards the unhook. He's on us. Oh, he's gonna bamboozle that window. Okay, I'm gonna get a hit here. I might just try to take the hit and run to a better location. And now this like whole half of the map is like a dead zone, so I guess I'll run towards like main building. Yeah, and we don't have the window right here. Like this is a bad window for me. Okay. Well, looks like I might be dead. Yeah. Unless we get a flashlight save or something. Yeah, he probably has a hook like right here, I would think. Yeah, he does. Oh. Thanks team for trying. Okay, well, played 2 games. We died 2 games in a row, so, I guess meta 2020 can't even keep up with the current times. I'm mostly joking because I'm trying to think, is there anything that could have saved us this game in current meta? Like off the record wouldn't have helped because like we already had Dead Hard. Yeah, we were probably screwed regardless in this game. Maybe last game we didn't get too much value out of 2 of our different perks, but yeah, so that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm sorry if I was talking a lot. I love like talking about DBD, especially DBD back in my day, back in 2020. That's when I first started playing in late 2020, so that's why I was really excited to do this video. So thank you all for listening if you made it this far and indulging me in ranting about DBD. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you all in the next one.